Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking more about my own personal journey with CAP therapy and what the treatment plan looks like for me. If you're new here and you've never heard about CAP therapy before, then please feel free to go back to my last episode where I do talk about this in more detail and why I'm receiving this treatment. But right now I am on my way to the CAP clinic, so come with me and we'll get into today's episode. My journey with CAP began in March this year, and to date I've received 24 CAP treatments, and coming to Thailand has been the best decision that I've ever made. Later on in this video, I'll also share some photos of my progress so far. Before coming to Thailand, I did see some improvements in my skin naturally over the 2 years that I've been going through topical steroid withdrawal, but it never seemed to fully heal properly. I'd always be flaring, and I always felt like I was caught in this constant cycle. Since being in Thailand and learning so much from Jay, who's the director of the clinic, I now have a better understanding as to why it was like this. Jay knows a lot about TSW and has developed a theory over time on what healing timelines may look like, depending on the amounts and potency levels of steroids that have been used, which is why healing timelines can vary from person to person. He suggests that there's 4 different stages of healing TSW naturally, and this can often take a person many years to get through because of multiple different factors. CAP helps to speed this timeline up by bypassing the 4 stages of healing. It helps to keep the healing rate at 100% by stimulating the skin cells, which can help bring the skin thickness back to 100% a lot faster than it normally would with time. If you saw my last episode, you would have seen that 50% of the healing success comes from this part of the treatment, and the other 50% comes from the right healing environment and how I look after myself. Post-treatment care is just as important, if not more important, than the CAP treatment itself. It's also important to reiterate here that the CAP device that's used here in Thailand is a medical grade device that is specifically designed and tested to treat TSW skin. There are many different versions of CAP machines out there, so I would highly recommend doing thorough research before trying just any CAP machine to treat TSW skin. This is Toto, he's the doctor. Each week he examines my skin to make sure that my infections are under control and gives me any advice on medications that I may need, such as antibiotics. There are 7 classes of steroids, class 1 being the strongest. I've estimated that I've used approximately 1 kilogram of class 2 and 3 steroids, so on the high end of the spectrum. Based on my steroid history and the state that my skin was in when I arrived to Thailand, Jay suggested that 6 months worth of weekly treatments would be a reasonable amount of time to get my skin into a stable enough position, to get my healing rate to 100%, and to also learn and understand the right knowledge in order to continue to heal successfully when I return home. Keeping in mind that healing rate and skin thickness are 2 different things. 100% healing rate is easier to reach but hard to maintain without CAP because my skin thickness hasn't reached 100% yet. 100% skin thickness means a full recovery and the ultimate goal, but this is the part that will take the longest both with and without CAP. I need to maintain my healing rate at 100% in order to reach 100% skin thickness. So in reality, I do need a lot more CAP therapy than just the first 6 months. But Jay also understands that I need to be realistic. I've got a life to get back to, family, work commitments, and I also need things like visas and income to be able to stay in Thailand long term. So I've started with the bare minimum and I'll do the best that I can from here. I've just reached my 6-month mark of weekly treatments and my healing rate is at 100%. While my skin looks incredible, it's still not there yet. I feel like I've got my life back. I can tolerate a lot more things now, like showering comfortably, going shopping and being outdoors and sweating without getting itchy and totally consumed by my skin. But I do need to remember that it's going to take a lot more time or a lot more CAP therapy before my skin thickness will return back to 100% post-steroids. If I returned home now, I would feel a lot more confident in managing my skin, my flares, and my environment. but I do need to understand that my skin is still very fragile. I need to be extremely cautious of my surroundings and my lifestyle and to ensure that I have a safe place to go back to when I return home. There are things that I can do to help, such as applying for fully remote work to avoid irritants, moving into a home that's not too newly renovated and not too old either to avoid things like mold and carpet, and also keeping household items and furniture to a minimum, limiting my social interactions, and ensuring that I have access to regular sea and sun, which can be a powerful healing tool now that my skin is stable enough for the ocean. While all of this stuff can sound easy in theory, it will take a lot of work to maintain my 100% healing rate, because I won't have the help of CAP anymore to give me that extra boost until my skin reaches 100% skin thickness. So it is likely that my healing rate will slowly decline over time. The next best thing I can do once my environment is sorted would be to have maintenance top-ups wherever possible. Right now, I do have the opportunity to stay longer in Thailand and receive more CAP treatments. My partner and I have decided that it's best for me to stay here right now and keep receiving as much treatment as money will allow. And it also means that I can stay in this environment that I know is safe for my healing until we work out what our long-term plan is. This is my beautiful therapist, Noi. Each week I receive full body treatment, which takes about 2.5 hours. She makes me feel very comfortable. It's very relaxing. It doesn't hurt. Sometimes if I've got a bit of a sensitive or oozing spots, it can feel like a zapping feeling, but it's never been unbearable for me. Treatment days are usually a full day of therapy, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually too. The clinic is a very social place, and it's always so nice to connect with others who know what it's been like to go through this condition. And it just helps to release some of that stored emotional and mental trauma that we all go through. Whoever's around usually comes to the nearby cafe for coffee or lunch before we head home to isolate for 48 hours post-treatment. This is because our skin is extra sensitive during this time after treatment, and it's important that we rest for our bodies to recover. These are two of my most favourite days of the week because it means that I get to sleep as much as I want and eat lots of good, nourishing foods. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you want to stick around, I'll leave you with some of my progress photos of CAP so far. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up and feel free to comment. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications button and you'll be notified of all my latest episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll see you next time.